With God's help, we become unstoppable. With God's help, everything is possible. All of the accomplishments are remarkable. Others can hate, but they still can't stop it though. We move forward, never ever stumble. With God blessing us, we still stay humble. And through the struggle and all of the trouble, our work we redouble.
Good morning. Welcome back to Unstoppable Purpose in Motion Season 2. We're having real conversations, sharing real stories, and reminding ourselves that progress doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about being intentional. From these stories, we continue to inspire and grow together. So let's move with purpose. And this morning, your host for today is Brother Jaster. And I have with me...
I'm Nidell. Hi, everyone. Good morning. And we also have...
I think we have our special guest for today.
Hi, my name is Brother William from Baltimore.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I am also here. My name is Lionel. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. But before we proceed, let's go with our early birds in the chat.
Yes. So first we have Frederick Mendoza. Good morning and greetings from the locale of Baltimore. Hashtag Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Yay.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Greetings from Brother Mateos Rivera. Good morning to you. Good morning to all our early birds, says Marvin. Also from Marina, she says good morning to all. Angelisa Kanla says good morning from hashtag Temple Hills. And also from Grace Galarpe, good morning from hashtag Anne Arundel. Also from Anne Arundel is Ace Tapang or Ace Tapang. Just kidding. Comment in the chat if I said it right.
Now he's going to say something about it.
I'm just kidding. We also have Lizelle Ramirez from hashtag Temple Hills. Jeanette Gonzalez from hashtag Waldorf. Brother Rafael Gonzalez from the locale of Baltimore. Amelia Salazar from hashtag Temple Hills. Leandro Laziste from hashtag Anne Arundel. Amelia Salazar, our loyal viewer. Thank you so much for joining us from Temple Hills. Cita Velasco from Baltimore. Sister Michelle Santos from Temple Hills. Sister Steph Magallanes from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. That's a lot of people in the early birds today.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Good morning, everyone.
So we will be sending out a message to tell us something for everyone to tell us something that you're proud of, big or small. It doesn't matter because every win counts. This way, your story could be featured on an upcoming INCRadio Washington D.C. broadcast, so we can celebrate our wins together. So let's go around and let's share our wins that we had this recent week.
I have to think about that one. Well, I know last week I said I took off from work. Well, this week I went to work, everyone.
Woo.
Ooh, yeah, going to work.
No, sometimes I feel like it's been harder because have you noticed it's been really foggy outside?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was really new and different. And so it really makes you want to stay in your blanket and like stay cozy. So
Yeah. Like the time that we were driving out when we were going grocery shopping, I think it was Thursday. It was like so foggy, and my wife was like, "I've never seen this before," because they never really had fog up north.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "I've never seen this before," so
It's
it was
different.
something new.
Does it get foggy here often?
I don't
Not
know.
that I remember.
No,
No.
not often.
I've only been
Okay.
here since 2020.
Usually it's like
so.
that in like Washington State if you've
Yeah.
been there before, but it's usually like in the West Coast it's foggy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you guys are all talking like, oh, yeah, this is foggy. This is new. I'm like, it happens almost every year.
Yeah.
Right back where I'm from. Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's cool.
But
Yeah.
how about for you both? What's
yeah.
your win?
Well, actually, job related. This week I got a couple of wins. Actually, I was tasked to one of my role is to prepare do a code upgrade on one of the actually we call it the high touch customers. And during on my prepping the the work, I noticed there's some anomalies on one of the modules, and I start researching, and then I noticed that based on the KB, documentation from the vendor, it continues, and the CPUs or the processes in the background escalate. It will actually take it down, and the active will not be when it has a problem and decided to fail over. It won't have the ability to fail over because the standby is not actually ready to accept the they call it the preemptive, preamp. So I opened the ticket, and apparently it was really a serious matter. So I reached out to my management and explained to them, provide them the documentation, and then we have to go back to the customer. And we have an LSA or SLA that we can't just do a immediate emergency unless it's really justifiable. So basically, I explained to them the pros and cons, and they my team, my manager decided to say, okay, do it tonight. So basically, I just need to reboot the device because I'm performing the code upgrade next week. So I was just scared, just like I was telling you earlier. I was like, this is my first time doing it, and I'm new with this equipment. I was just like last night, so I performed the upgrade, and man, within 30 minutes, I see the device coming up, and all the error messages clear up, and I told myself, thank God. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest, like especially when you're working with a customer.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to wait for their approval before you can do anything. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah, and so I said, I that's why this, last night I kept posting all the kind of like the screenshots, just share it to my team, especially to my managers. I was just like, I'm thinking to myself, woo,
Yeah.
I didn't mess up.
That's good.
Good catch.
How about you, Lionel?
For me, it's not going to be work related. So I have I have to admit something. I haven't been keeping to my New Year's goals of consistently working out.
No.
But this week, I did go exercise. I did work out this week.
Nice.
I went to the gym 3 times because I'm trying to follow a more consistent schedule that fits my current schedule.
Yeah.
Because before my goal was like, okay, I'm going to go to gym every day, but the rest day is going to be on like worship service days because right after work, I got to go straight to the chapel. No time for the gym. But there was sort of made a new schedule where I'm only going to go 3 times a week. So in that way, on those other days that I do rest days, especially on the weekends where we're so busy with like church activities and stuff, that it sort of fits better. So that's my win.
Yeah. Do you have like a
Health-related.
planned workout that you follow?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have this app. It's a calisthenics app.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
it shows you like the different progressions from like in 3 levels of different progressions of workouts that you can do at home. But it also tells you what muscles it works out.
Oh, that's
So if I
nice.
feel like, I don't feel like working out from home, I want to go to the gym and like go out and actually, make the paid gym membership that I'm paying worth it, right? That I just sort of go see, okay, what muscles am I hitting for this workout? I'm going to go try to find an equivalent exercise for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah.
That's a good way to just be active. I think it's really hard, especially after January, where you have that high highs. You're like, okay, I got this. It's a new year, new me. I'm gonna go to the gym often. But then I think when you hit that threshold and getting into February, you get kind of overwhelmed because you just put yourself all into it. I know this is super off topic, but Brother William, I know your family's very like physically active. I see it on social media with your son and your daughter-in-law. Do you join them whenever you work out and everything, or how do you stay healthy as a person?
Well, I've been very active. Even I think Jester can attest to that. Even in my younger days, I've been playing a lot of basketball, and I think that's where my kids got their, what do you call that? And even though, even right now, we're so busy, we're officers, right? I still find time to, almost every single day. I have like a walk mill or a treadmill, and I spend at least at a minimum a mile every single day. First thing before I start in the morning, and then I do a lot of kind of like bench. I mean, what I call lift weights. 10, 15 pounds. I don't want to break my bones. I'm already old. I was just trying to tone my muscles and just but sometimes because of busy schedules, sometimes there will be days that I don't even do work, but I just compensate it the next day. I double my effort the following day. Just try to keep in shape.
That's good.
And it's,
Yeah. Also, with all your grandkids, also that's a lot of workout too.
oh yeah, especially the grandkids. they like to
Got to keep up
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
Especially
They're your weights.
oh
They're the
yeah,
weights.
yeah,
Up and down. Up. You want to go again?
yeah. Ooh, they're killing my back.
But yes, there's also more people who had a win. So Grace Galarpa said her win was she was able to make it to work without an absent this week. And
Oh,
It's
nice.
really hard for some. And most of all, able to perform her duties entrusted to us.
It's always a
Very
win.
good
Yeah, it's always a
job.
win.
Yeah.
So let's get to our topic. Have you ever had a moment where life just didn't go according to plan?
Of course.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
So
of time.
like you had a timeline in mind, a vision, and expectations, and then suddenly it just didn't go according to plan, right? So this morning we're going to be talking about those moments, the detours, the delays, but more importantly, how we respond to them. Purpose isn't proven when everything is perfect. It's revealed when things change unexpectedly. So with the panel, does everybody here like surprises, or do you want everything to have preparation to it?
Well,
Ooh.
it depends. If the
What
surprise
kind of
is for my
birthday?
birthday.
If it's a good
Wink,
surprise,
wink,
we like
wink.
that.
How about for you, Brother William?
Yeah.
I prefer planning, but then again, surprises are kind of like inevitable in our life, right? So just tell myself, I just gotta be, stay calm, be patient, and deal with it, even in the spur of the moment. Like when you're planning on vacation and then you have these schedules in your routine, and all of a sudden you find something, your partner says, no, we want to go this, and you kind of like just okay, it just unplanned, and deal with it.
Yeah.
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 I think I'm kind of the same way as well. Yeah. Like, even though as much as we plan, right, things will always come up.
Yeah.
So, like, what was it? Plan for the worst, prepare for the
Prepare for the
worst, hope for the best.
hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, nothing is planned, so everything's a surprise. But my wife does all the pretty much the planning because she's a really good planner.
Mm-hmm.
But with all the plans to her, it's just gonna be a surprise to me. Like, oh, okay, let's do that. So like, it doesn't really like bother me in a sense because it's like, okay, I'll just go with the flow, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
So, what helps you stay grounded when outcomes don't match expectations?
I think this is something that one of my former coworkers would usually say whenever something like unexpected happens at work, or like something happens at work that's like people can deem as, oh, it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
The thing he always says, like, it'll buff out. Because like that sort of
Everything,
mentality,
yeah.
like, yeah, it'll one way or another, it will work out in the end. So it's something that like sort of that mentality that he had sort of kind of got transferred to me as he was training me, that, whenever things happen at work, like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. So now let's do something about it. Okay. Yeah.
How about for you?
Yeah, I think I can relate to what he says. Working in the field where I'm right now, it's always, I mean, it's just like it's not like a cruise control that every single time it's like smooth, and you'll be surprised when half of your day was just like cruising, and then all of a sudden, bam, one after another, just like P1 cases. Hey, you need to join this call. Hey, you have to be on this one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And I keep telling myself, don't panic.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, and I just keep praying, and that's my every single day, for the longest period of time ever since. Before I start my day, at work, even though I prayed before I wake up in the morning, I'll pray before I start my work. I said, God, thank you. I'm still gainfully employed.
Yeah.
Please help me, guide me.
Yeah.
You allow me to work. You allow me to be here. Just please help me, direct my path, teach me.
Yeah.
Don't allow me to be easily flustered, because you can easily get distracted and flustered when just like left and right problems are just like nonstop, and you can't even keep up. Case in point, yesterday morning, started my early meeting, and then after the meeting it was just everything go downhill.
Yeah.
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 I didn't even realize that it's already noon time. I didn't even have my breakfast or anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. But at the end of the day, I said, thank God.
Yeah.
You helped me.
It is really good to be grateful.
Yeah.
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 It's always just like, thank God. Yeah, I survived another day.
Because it is the job you prayed for. And
Yes.
it's the
Yeah.
one that gets you like day by day, have a house, have the food, and provide for your children and grandchildren too. So that's good you mentioned that you give thankfulness to God, even after all like the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me earlier this week as well. I think it was Thursday. I had like a day full of meetings. I was double booked on certain hours, and there were just like 5 to 10 people in like my work area.
Yeah.
Like, and 3 of them are like trying to talk to me at the same time, and I'm like, I'm in a meeting. Oh, yeah.
That's that's amazing how how powerful God's our prayers to God is, and how amazing He is that He'll help us through no matter what, which is like awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, how do you usually react when your schedule gets disrupted?
Ooh.
Ooh.
My schedule, actually, with what I do for work, my schedule is always disrupted every single day. So, as I mentioned, like before, I'm a speech therapist, so my schedule in the schools is never ever consistent. Some kids may have like an emotional breakdown, or there's like someone who's asking for help on the side, and you're like going to the child in that classroom, but you have to fix this problem now.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take a deep breath. I no, it's seriously, like that's like the physiological thing to do first. I take a deep breath, and then I just think like, okay, what can I do? I just take care of what's in front of me first. Say it's okay, and then go on. I mean, I just learn how to be flexible, because what can you do, at that moment?
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay. So.
Yeah.
How about for you?
That is also what I do, because like I take like a hard reset, like all of our electronics, that's our hard reset, just taking a deep breath. But
Turn it off and turn it back on.
yeah,
again.
turn it back on. But also, like in my career field, also in pharmaceuticals, like when we grow our cells, it takes either long or really short, so we have to like change our schedules like really early or really like late. So it's literally just take it all in kind of thing. Just like, okay, I'll just take it. We're gonna be like 2-3 days late. Okay, what can we fit in those 2 to 3 days that we're gonna be late to prep us in the future, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
How about for you, Brother William?
Being in this field, I think, first of all, I just pretty much, my confidence level is just to Him, I know that He will not let me, be alone. And, because just like what, our schedules are just like not a set schedules, you'll have one moment it was quiet, and then all of a sudden it's just like storm. And I kind of learned how to deal with it, in a way where I said, well, this is the expectation. You want to be in this field, deal with it, and just man up. And just basically I tell myself, man up, and just, I always have this mantra in my head. It's like, it will work out.
Yeah.
That's true. When something is very difficult, don't you feel like there's growth happening.
Yes, that's what I wanted to actually say. Yeah, and in every situation, I look at it this way: I'll pick up something that I can, that I learn. In our field, even though it's the worst case scenario, you have no idea what's going on, but at the end, you pick up something that when you experience the same thing the next time, you know what to do, you know how to react.
Yeah.
You're already better prepared. And to me, I keep telling myself, this is what God's way of training me to be,
Better in the future.
yeah, to be better in the future. It's always like that. Yeah, because to me, it's always my mentality. Even growing up, is just experience is the best teacher.
Yes. Actually, I don't think we've ever actually covered it. What is it that you do, Paul? If you can speak about it.
I'm actually a cybersecurity engineer. I'm a lead cybersecurity.
Nice.
2 years ago, I was from a senior. I was tasked to be a lead cybersecurity, and we manage mostly, supposedly, my role supposedly concentrated on the federal side, government side, but I came from the commercial, so people from the commercial side, they're still leaning on me to help them whenever.
Yeah.
Even managers, they're
Yeah.
pulling me out to attend a meeting, customer meeting, where they're onboarding new customers. Basically, I just interface with the customer to explain to them what our process and what the expectation and the whole 9 yards, and then I'll be their point of contact or escalation. So
Yeah, I think it's a common thing in engineering where, for example, for me, right, I have say like, okay, I come into work, I have this thing I want to get started. I'll set it on my desk. Suddenly 2:00 comes around. I still haven't touched that because I got pulled to everywhere else.
exactly. I mean, I can relate to that
I'm like,
100%.
Where did the day go?
Yeah. It's like, wait, it's 2:00?
Yeah. It's always something, like there is always something to learn, especially with like our field. Actually, I think it's for any field whatsoever. I think in the working field is like there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And like to what Nidal said is like if you won't grow if it's not much of a challenge.
That's
Yes.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
So constantly looking for a challenge at work that's, either we can do on our own, but also finding a challenge that maybe it'll help us network as well. Networking is also important at work. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. It's kind of like the one of the Bible verses. I'm not really familiar with the term, the whole thing, but it said like God will not put you through struggles that you can't handle.
Yes,
Very
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like one of my favorite verses, even though I don't know the verse. But I always like think on that whenever like my expectations doesn't go my way. It's like, oh, this is just a learning experience, God put me in this way so He could help me grow. Yeah, what Brother
it's
William said.
redirection.
Yeah, exactly. So we have any more
We do.
comments?
You do. So we have Steph Magalianes said, planning is human nature, but God's surprises are the most perfect plans for us.
Oh, yes.
Always a
Yeah.
great reminder every time something changes or unexpected happens. Amelia Salazar said, I'd say a little preparation with a small element of surprise is a sweet spot. It reduces stress while still keeping things exciting. That's true. Yeah. Lizelle Ramirez said, I like surprises, but planning is preferred. Haha. That's true.
Planning is preferred.
Planning is
Yeah.
preferred.
Brian Torres said, I need preparation. It energizes me knowing the anticipation on what is to come. True. Grace Larper said, yes, detour like instead of studying research on class. She said, I became a teacher instead to be with my family most of the time. Later wins with she started to accept more church responsibilities. Oh, that's really good.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
Great job. And then one last one. Brian Torres said, I feel so loved by God when outcomes don't match the expectations because God's plans are bigger than ours and He always knows what is best for us.
Oh, so do you think that like if it doesn't go according to plan, God wants us to go somewhere else?
Absolutely. I think that everyone
100%.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
I think it. Shout out to Bruce Balmeo. I think he said in our season finale last season was, it's not rejection, it's redirection.
Yeah,
That's right.
I love that quote.
That's awesome. So, with unmet expectations, does it impact the relationship between your loved ones, or does it make you better between the relationships between you and your loved ones?
I think because I was actually sort of thinking about this with like expectations.
Yeah.
I think it can be a chance for the relationship to grow when the expectation when both parties are not on the same page. That's where I think one of the most important skills that we can have in our arsenal is communication. I feel like we even need to communicate the needs and expectations, so in that way, whatever is happening, the miscommunication won't happen at all.
Yeah. How about you, Brother William?
I think I learned to be patient, understanding, and just like what he pointed out, better communication with my loved ones. Because when I was raising my kids, I wanted to follow them. I want them to follow my footstep, right? Because I kept ingraining, telling them when they were young, this is where you need to go. This is where your career is gonna take off, and you'll have a better future, right? As parents, that's all you wish for your kids. You always want to guide them. But then again, when my oldest son, got out of school, he went to nursing school. He wants to follow my wife.
Yeah.
And then my youngest one, he started, I see some potential because he was always like tinkering with my, my computer at home. It was just like moving around parts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just keep telling him. And his best friend, the dad, is actually, a programmer. And I says, look at Brother Matty, you remember, he's making good money. I says, that's where you need to go. And he actually listened to me. But then it came a time that says, Dad, I think this is not for me. So I was like, and then I said, why did you, go this route? Well, I just wanted to listen to you. But then again, I wanted to follow what what I wanted. I says, well, as parents, you can only guide your children. You cannot force them what to do.
Yeah.
And I says, whatever makes you happy. And then, maybe that's God's plan.
That's right.
So,
What did he end up doing?
well, he wants to be, like a physical trainer, and that's where he wants to be, like in a sports therapy or stuff like that.
Yeah.
They even convinced me to at one point, says, Dad, can you lend us money, and we want to rent a big warehouse, and we'll buy
Wow.
equipments, and both my young and my oldest son is like, I said, you guys are nuts. Well, that's what I thought at that time, but then again, I didn't realize, that could, be like a potential for, for growth. And
Yeah.
No, that's a great investment, and I love how you really emphasize that you as a parent, your role is to guide them and give them an idea, not necessarily, hey, this is your template, this is where you have to go, because sometimes that's not exactly what, because you don't know them like to the core. They don't know themselves either, but you as a parent, supporting them helps them understand themselves more, and
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important for kids. I
Definitely.
think that's what my parents did for me too. They're like, we support you. You can do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay. But my mom was a physical therapist before, and so I had the idea. Oh, I want to be in the medical field too. All of my relatives are in the medical field, and so I was like, okay, I want to do dentistry. And so I was like, okay, great. I'm in college, but now I'm failing all these classes because it's just not interesting for me.
Yeah.
But my mom being that role model for me gave me a direction. And one day my aunt was like, hey, my son does get speech therapy. I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. And so I doubted it for a little bit, but I think all of that failing, I knew I tried my best. I prayed every single day. And there was that hopelessness for a second, but I'm so happy that I went with what God intended, because I'm able to be in the place that I am right now, and help all these kids. And I'm really happy, instead of going to dentistry school and like,
And not liking your job kind of thing.
exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Any more comments? No?
Nope.
Okay. So looking back, what did the disruption teach you about yourself?
I think it's what Brother William here mentioned earlier is patience and understanding. Because growing up, it's also something that I sort of had to learn. Starting college, I wanted to, or I had in my mind like, oh, I can take 6 to 8 classes in college because I did it in high school. I did it for 4 years in college, or in high school. I could do it in college. I was struggling, especially I was struggling with a full load of classes of units.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh no, I got to figure out how to work this out. The patience part kicked in there, so I had to sort of reevaluate the rest of my school year. So like, okay, this is gonna be. I made that mistake because it was something that I sort of didn't fully understand about myself, but then I learned now that I understood more. I sort of made myself to be a bit more patient in trying to work things out on my own. And that's at that point I was like really praying to God, like, hey, okay, I really need help because I thought I could do this, but I really can't do it on my own.
Yeah. So good.
For Brother William, actually, I do have a question in regards to like marriage. My husband and I actually got married recently this past August.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. In regards to Brother Jacer's question, like, what did you learn about yourself, like when you first got married and to this point now? What did you learn about yourself?
Oh gosh, marriage is just like life is. I mean, there's like always up and downs. I mean, we can do all the plannings, we can do all the leg work and the whole 9 yards, but at the end of the day, it's just life will just throw some curveball and and then I think over the years I just realized that I have, my resiliency. I mean, I'm resilient. I told myself I've gone through all kinds of troubles in life. Growing up, I grew up, poor and we don't have a lot of things. And then I started kind of like improving my skill sets, so that I can have a better future, better job. And then even then, I still have setbacks. I was like, okay. Despite of what I'm trying to do, or what I'm trying to accomplish, I feel like I'm not moving forward. There's always a setback. Then in hindsight, I just realized those setbacks kind of like teaches me something, it teaches me resiliency, and it teaches me to fully really rely on what God can do for me. I mean, just like I remember this when I was kind of like, it's in my what I call that, I was new in the church, and I was remember back in the Middle East, we have cassette tape for our worship service, and one of the lessons, it was Brother Ranyo Manalo, and he said that you can make all your plans, but the final outcomes will be in God's hand. Just like, and I never forget that. And I just like, regardless of what I do, it is still,
Up to God.
it's up to God. Just basically just leave it to Him and let Him, drive your life. And I told myself it's just a leap of faith. Just trust Him. You can never go wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I said, like in the first season, where like life is like has like a bunch of like speed bumps.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was, so like God's just like telling you like, oh, here's a little speed bump. Now you can learn from something from it. Slow down a little bit, kind of thing.
Okay, may I add to that? But during the early stage, I'm always scared.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to do. But as time progressed, I just keep on telling myself, what else? I've experienced pretty much everything, all kinds of problems in life. And I said, I think, with God's help, I can just face everything. And, you can overcome every situation that you face in life.
That's very true.
Yeah, same thing with my wife, because we've only been married for a year now. And, like, there's a lot of, like, just dating prior to being married is just, like, the tip of the iceberg. you know, having that relationship is like nothing compared to like being married. Because now that we're married, we're like fully trying to like get to know one another because we're like living together. So like that's like one of the hardest things that we're going through right now is like
The adjustment period.
adjustment.
Yeah,
Mhm.
5 year. They said 5 years, 6 years.
5-6 years.
Yeah.
We'll get used to it.
We do have some comments about our discussion. So, Brother Rafael Gonzalez says the best plan is always God's plan, always comes with a blessing. That's
Mm.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Brother Christian Agron said, embrace the tough times. Our Lord God is always there to help us through. He is truly just a prayer away.
Oh.
Like what Brother William was really emphasizing today. When hard times come, you have to pray.
Great.
Right.
Yeah.
Believe in the power of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, can you share a specific moment when your plans completely like fell apart, but then like in the end, like everything worked out way better than you expected? Well, we know for you, Sister Nadel, that you had, you know, you were going to dentistry school, and then and then you went to your speech therapy and everything. So like that was a really good jump for you, and that turned out way better than you expected.
It did.
So how about you, for you, Brother William?
I mean, I always relate to work because it's life experiences, right? I was a contractor for the Department of Defense, and I'd been wanting to become a GS, or they call it civilian employee, because they said that, you know, once you become a civilian employee, it's only act of God to for you to get fired after a year. I tried and I couldn't get, you know. I applied for, you know, GS position. I couldn't get hired, even if you're qualified, because you had they always prioritize prior military experience, and then that's what I was like. That's my set goal to. I was really aiming hard, but you know, I says, well, maybe this is not for me. Maybe God has other plan. And out of nowhere, I got a job offer from some recruiter that I even know. At one point, I thought it was just like a hoax or a fake or a scam. But I just went through for the interview, and then I didn't realize it was true. And it's like, offer me a better job, a lot better paying job. And I thought I'm going to stay there. You know, I said, well, this is where I stand. And then I'm hoping that I'll stay there, continue to kind of like level up my skill set, learn a lot of, you know. After a few years, you know, I was a contractor. You know, they didn't renew my contract. And I'm like, I told myself, man, I thought that was a setback, right? Because I firmly believe that I'll be hired as a full-time. And then for 2 months, 3 months, I'm out of job, you know. I was praying. There's a lot of job offers, you know, but it's like outside, you know, and then I look at the schedules, it'll conflict my, you know, I said, I'm not going to sacrifice my performance. You know, every time I look for a job, the first thing I look is it going to hinder me in performing my duties? You know, everywhere. That's always my first thing. I asked this for the schedule. They gave me, there was a job offer that I'll be the lead, but then again, you work night shift, you know, the 12.
Man, that's hard.
And I was like, I'm going to miss, you know, activities in the church, but to make sure that didn't fell through. Then here's another one, and I was in this position for 4 years, and then all of a sudden, change of management, the company sold the business unit to a different company, and there's a lot of changes, and most of my coworkers are in panic mode. You know, they're moving from, you know, they're actually leaving, and I'm like, okay. I said, well, I just said to myself, God, whatever is your plan for me, I'll just, you know, go with what you want me to do. I just stuck there, and for like 6 months to a year, I mean, I'm not getting any good news. It's always just like the product I'm supporting. They said they're sunsetting it, and I'm going to be out of job in 1 year, 1.5 years. And then my boss says, well, I'm transferring you to a different manager. You'll be reporting to this guy. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is another setback. And I said, it's okay. I told my wife, you know, I said, it's okay. You know, that's what God wants. If He wants me to retire early, then I'll just retire. I don't want to just give up quitting my job. I just wanted them to let him know, okay, you're done, right?
Yeah.
And then with this new job, with this new manager, I didn't realize, just like what you pointed out earlier, it's not a setback. It's a protection and redirection. But by God. I just, in hindsight, I was looking back, even the last few days, and I'm like, man, all those, chaos that's been for the last 2 years, God just put me in a position where it's going to be, you're there until you retire. And I'm like, I said to myself, thank God.
Yeah, all of that chaos, like you said, it has to work perfectly with God's plan.
Yeah.
If you decide to, not trust in God, it would have been completely somewhere else.
Yeah, and I have a lot of co-workers that I think that they are much better than me, better qualified than me, younger than me, and they were let go. And I was like, when I hear like, okay,
Even you, yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, it could be my name on the next call. But I just I kept trying, and then all of a sudden my boss told me, oh, you want to go to this training? I was like, oh, are you keeping me? Sure. So I was like, okay. And I'm just so grateful,
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a story of my mom. She, her job was forcing her, because she was a deaconess at the time, and she was forced to work on that Sunday for worship service. And she was like, no, I can't work that day. I have worship service. I have to go to church. And then her manager was like, well, if you don't go to work, you're fired. So she's like, okay. So then she didn't go to work. She performed her duties as planned. And then that following week, she had a call for an even better job after that.
Wow.
Because that job wasn't really meant for her anyways. Because looking back at it, I was like, man, how did you stay at that job, Mom, for so long? She's like, well, I needed it to support you guys, to support you and your brothers. And I was like, oh, that's really great. And now that I'm really happy that she was blessed for not, following her manager's orders to work that day, to skip worship service. So all in God's plan.
That's a really great blessing.
Yeah.
And I feel like with the experiences that we've been having throughout our lives, I think a great mindset is to be excited when hard times come. That's a really good positive mindset. So that whenever that really crushes you, you're never going to you're never going to fail in life. Having that positivity and trust in God. Yeah.
So, have you ever realized that later that a no was actual protection? That's what we spoke about, Brother William, that you said no for a while. But what Christian values guide you when your visions and expectations go as planned? How does it strengthen your faith?
Number for you, Lionel.
Yeah, I actually had a story I wanted to share. And, hearing all of our stories, especially yours, Brother William, thank you so much again for joining us today. Hearing all of our stories is sort of it's always inspiring because, right, what we feel like is the worst that we're going through is, it's never the worst, as long as God is by our side. Because there was this one story I remember when a bunch of the Kadiwas went to the Philippines back in 2018. I was part of the group that went there. It was sort of like a part heritage tour, part seminars for Kadiwas, as well as just some bonding time with our fellow brethren. And the brethren from the Philippines, they actually took some time off to spend time with us, to show us around, to sort of be our tour guides, to be sort of the ones that sort of help us get around the place. And we were talking to one of the brethren that was sort of the organizers, and we asked him so your job just allowed you to take a week off? And they're like, yeah, explained it. They explained everything to their job. The next question that we asked was, so then what happens if they change their mind? Oh no, you can't. And his answer kind of stuck with me, is that, even though that job might have been the one that he prayed for, God can always give you another one as long as it's what we do is in sacrifice for him. Because God gave me this job. He can give me another one. So even if that things don't go our way, like what your mom went through, is, yeah, okay, yeah, she had this job. She was able to, earn money and all that. But she chose to prioritize her faith, prioritize her duties to God. And she was rewarded in the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was just letting that sink in. Yeah, it's very true. When you put like we've been really emphasizing today, no matter what happens, put a smile on your face and trust that God has your back, because that's always it's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
How about you, Brother William? Do you have any like last things, like sort of a takeaway that those that are watching today can take away?
Well, I've got a short, what do you call this? And this is where I'll, remember our theme last year, believe in, trust in, rely on what God can do for you. That is just like my mantra, just put all your, put Him first, and it's biblical, and that's what the church administration, Brother Eduardo Manalo, keep emphasizing, right? Put Him first in your life, and everything will,
Go
according to God's plan. His plan is far greater than what we aspire for or desire for. Yeah. Sometimes we look at it's like a detour or a setback, but just like what you said earlier, it's a redirection, it's a protection. This is where you will be better off, not there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very well said. And I'm glad you joined us today. And I remember when you coming into this room, you were like, I was very nervous.
Yeah.
But you did really well in helping us understand the different experiences in this life, and because it's all according to God's plan.
Yeah. Do you have any special shout outs that you want to say, Brother William?
Stay in touch. Unstoppable.
Are you, Lionel? You have any shout outs?
I just want to give a shout out to my parents and my siblings and my family, because they're the ones who were there for me when I was growing up, teaching me all the things that I need to know, especially with my parents and my siblings.
I know.
Thank you. So I want to give a shout out to my husband behind the scenes doing tech, because he helps me day by day whenever I have like my mental struggles. He always reminds me, don't worry, you have to pray and God will take care of you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So, but before we go, we'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, and our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Manalo. For their unstoppable support, we'd like to thank our INCRadio Washington D.C. family for supporting our broadcast, especially to Brother Sidney R. Santos, our District Supervising Minister, Brother Richard Soterio, our Assistant District Minister, Brother Audric Dulai, our District CFO Overseer, Brother Tyler Worthen, our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Emmanuel Andaya, our Executive Producer, Brother Wally Tarai, our Station Manager, our dedicated techs, INCRadio Crew techs here and in the Philippines. So thank you for tuning in and are spending part of our day with us. If you liked today's show, please give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on what's coming next. Until then, catch us again next week right here on Unstoppable Purpose in Motion every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And remember, stay inspired, stay connected, and most of all, stay unstoppable.
Bye,
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
With God's help, we become unstoppable. With God's help, everything is possible. All of the accomplishments are remarkable. Others can hate, but they still can't stop it though. We move forward, never ever stumble. With God blessing us, we still stay humble. And through the struggle and all of the trouble, our work we redouble.
Through the good and the bad, we remain victorious. We return all the praises to a God so glorious.